Do you remember when your parents came over from Russia?
Uh,
Or what their story was?
no, I didn't. I didn't know them then.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, because I was like a probably just a baby.
Did they ever talk about their lives in Russia?
Uh, Minimally.
What language did they speak at home?
They spoke Yiddish.
Did
at
they
home.
speak Yiddish to you?
Um, Actually, no. They spoke English to me.
Mm-hmm. Did they speak Yiddish to each other?
Yes,
So you grew up hearing Yiddish.
and I could understand it, and I could actually speak it.
Okay. Can you write Yiddish? Could you ever write it?
Grandpa taught me
Mm-hmm.
how to do it. Now I don't know whether I can still do it. I mean, I still could probably make a stab at of getting the words in Yiddish.
Mm-hmm. Did Grandpa and Nana, did they write in Yiddish as well? If they were
Grandpa,
writing notes to each other, would they?
Grandpa could write in Yiddish. He could also write in Russian. He taught me when I was a kid to what he would do would be he'd write a couple of sentences, and then I was to read them back.
Mm-hmm.
And they all made a fuss over the fact, look, she's reading Russian, you know.
So that was your original language, probably.
No, my original language was not. My original language was actually Yiddish from my parents.
Yiddish. Okay. So then you learned English, and then
Well, I learned English in school.
right. So when you started going to school, clearly you were speaking English at that
Oh,
point.
sure.
Okay, but you were still speaking or hearing at least some Yiddish at home.
I was hearing Yiddish at home, but my parents made it a point to speak to me in English.
Okay, because they really wanted you to be
Oh, sure.
acclimated.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what did they do when they moved here? Or what was your recollection of of Grandpa's first job? Did Nana ever work? Did she ever work outside the home?
She did. She worked. She was in one of the companies, one of the places where they had clothes. They were manufacturing clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and so she worked there, and she was happy when she didn't have to work there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, she only had one kid, so
Yeah.
she could. It probably wasn't as hard. Certainly for you, it would have been much more complicated.
Yeah. She had a miscarriage though when I was about 12 or 11
Oh.
or something. Yeah. But
And what did Grandpa send her to?
he followed it with his brother-in-law, who is Barbara's. His brother-in-law was Barbara's grandfather.
Okay.
So who had a luggage factory, and so Grandpa also came in, and he learned how to make luggage from scratch.
So he was a craftsman.
Yes.
Okay. And how long did he work there? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't. But he was also he also could read Hebrew,
Mm-hmm.
and he loved music,
Mm-hmm.
and as you know, he's a fun guy. You know,
Oh, he was a great guy. I mean, my memories of him are just stellar. They're just
Yeah.
fantastic.
He
I
played
just
little
loved him.
tricks.
Yep. Funny.
Yeah.
Funny and never mean at all. Very
Right.
sweet man. Very,
Right.
very sweet
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And my recollection of him also is that he worked until he was 86, 87.
Yeah.
And he was leaving here,
Yeah.
living here and leaving here and taking 3 buses to get to Charlie Caniff's factory, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Charlie gave him the job.
Yeah. And what was he doing for Charlie Caniff?
Well,
He's like running a drill press or something?
I don't know whether he was running the drill press or not, but he was. Charlie gave him the job, so
Mhm.
he was always interested in getting another job. Although by then he was like retired.
Oh, yeah. He was in his mid-80s.
Yeah.
I know he was in his mid-80s and still working every day.
Yeah.
You know, and he'd make that long trudge up Melrose Ave every day
Mm.
at the end of the day. I was just, I remember that. I remember being very impressed with how industrious he was.
Well, see, when you've lived all your life from the time you were a child of being industrious, it's part of your habits.
Yeah, and did he feel, you think, also having been in America at the time of the Depression, did he feel like, it's just prudent to keep working to make money?
I think so. He knew there was a depression, and he knew he knew what was what.
Mm-hmm. And then he lived here for how many years? About 10 years?
I don't know.
It was about 10 years, I think, something like that. Something close to that, I remember. And then Nana died when I was in 8th grade, I think. So
Oh,
I would have been
really?
about 13 or 14.
Mm.
And then Grandpa died when I was 18, if I remember right.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Mm.
Well, do you have anything you want to say to Vladimir?
Well, yes, I want to say that I was very thrilled and very pleased to have him connect with us,
Mm-hmm.
because family is family,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to keep all the family people as close as possible.
If he has a chance to come and visit, would you?
I'd love it.
Okay.
I would love it, and so would everybody else.
Yes.
Because see, they'd have a chance to meet him, because they've all been programmed, all the kids, to say this is all family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I agree with you. So we'll put this out there and invite him to come and visit him and his wife, I suppose.
And that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can